Sí, hola. Hola, ¿qué tal? I hope everybody's doing well. I've received very few correspondences or comunicación from students. I'm hoping that that's going to change because we have another más o menos, more or less, más o menos, I don't know, 8 semanas, 8 more weeks. And it does not portend well when students are not communicating with their teachers. Some of you have, and I'm very appreciative. And I tell you that online. I'm not going to call everybody out who has not been communicating. But that sort of stays in your memory. So I try to tell students that the way you behave and your character will define your future success or lack thereof. When you ask a teacher for a letter of recommendation, they're going to remember how you acted, reacted, or did not act at all. Just saying. Okay, so let's empezar con la lección de español today. I'm going to do an introduction for you, and I'm going to say it very slowly to see if you can pick up any words in the context of what I'm saying. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Take a second. Hello, how are you? Hoy es lunes. Today is Monday. Y está lloviendo y lúgubre. And it's raining and it's basically not nice outside. Espero que hayan tenido un buen fin de semana. I hope that you had a good end of the week, meaning last weekend. Porque fue hermoso, because it was beautiful, el sábado pasado, last Saturday. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Okay, so some of those words you may have made a connection to from a cognation point of view, like the word sábado, Saturday. Fin, end, like final. Semana is a week, end of the week. We could also say weekend. We use that in the Romance languages between French and Spanish, Italian even as well, okay? And sábado pasado, past Saturday. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because when you are looking at, hopefully you're watching the Univision Channel 6 on Saturday morning, sábado por la mañana, the programa Atención, where you can follow the different little skits that they do. Some of them are all in, animated form, and then sometimes they come up and they do a skit, especially when the little kids are going to sleep, those of you who have watched it. So when you make the connections from the words you already know that we've discussed at length about cognates. So I'm hoping that when you listen to Spanish or French, as we did in the beginning, you make those connections of the words that are familiar to you. Okay, now, last time I asked if anybody understood why or could figure out why the Spanish language puts exclamation points and question marks before and after the sentences. ¿Qué está pasando aquí, marcadora? ¿Dónde está? No puedo. I think Mr. Miller ate it. Okay, so remember I had asked if anyone could figure out why? They do this. Hola means hey, hi. Okay, and oops, did it backwards. To Today is a cuckoo day. Okay, see? Hola. I did it backwards again. I'm going to try again. Here we go. Okay. The same thing with the question marks. If you say quién, like who, okay, the word is who, quién, who. The question mark comes before, but it's upside down, and then the question mark comes after, but it's right side up. Hola, the exclamation point is upside down at the beginning, but then it's right side up. Now, it's very interesting that they do that because they don't do that in French, they don't do that in Italian. It's a Romance language by itself that does this particular orthographic function or grammar point, and it means they're letting you know which way is this sentence going to go. Is it going to be an exclamation point like hola, or is it going to be a quién, a question mark, who? Which is very interesting because this occurred in the year 1754 with the Royal Spanish Academy, which was like the same for the French. They had their own group that would basically monitor or watch how the languages were going to keep them authentic. You know, language is constantly changing, getting perhaps now more simple, especially with your texting. So it's always something that's going to change, and depending on the time period that you're in. So the Academia Española decided back then, 1754, that it would be a good idea to alert somebody about what's happening with regard to the way that the sentence is going to go. That's why they do that, which is kind of remarkable, really. Okay, so next thing, we know some of you have submitted the numbers again. Thank you. You have the diario going on, the 25 words, which you'll have by May 20th, remember, El 20 Mayo. And then the vocabulary that we're going to go over right now for a moment again. And then the Univision show, which I think is fun to watch also on Saturday mornings. So I hope that some of you are doing that too. But I have to say that yes, himar shad dejbachtem, vordev yes ko usutichinem, yev ins hamar inchesanum ins hamar. I just said to an Armenian, I get a little bit sad because I'm your teacher and I don't get responses. Okay? Yo puedo hacer también en español, but I've already said it a million times. Okay? So, let's go to vocabulario, which you're going to add to your vocabulary list. Yes? Which is here. The me gusta is different. You can also, don't forget, for me gusta, the things that you like. Has to do with anything and everything. Food, clothes, programs, people, you know, favorite animals, for instance. Okay, now, back to vocabulario. The house. How do we say house in Spanish? La casa. La casa. Living room. Sala de estar. We know sala also means room. 2, kitchen. Cocina. In French also, la cuisine. Similarities there. 3, cuarto de baño. I think most of you know the word baño because you hear it quite often probably in school, especially if you're speaking to your friends who are speaking Spanish. Recámara, bedroom. Now, last time I had said also that this is a word that they're using, and it even trips me up sometimes too, because I do think of the word camera as soon as I see recámara. So, as an alternative to recámara, you have actually 2 other words that might be easier to remember at this point. El cuarto, which simply means room, but can be referred to as bedroom. And el dormitorio, also for bedroom. But bedroom from dormitory You might know that word from when your friends or siblings, sisters, brothers, parents have gone to a dormitory. In their school, they have a dormitory where they stay there. They stay over in the dormitory, so you do everything there. You sleep there. Dormitorio, and you live there, basically. Okay? So that's one other way to recall, remember the word in terms of bedroom. But you do have a choice. Okay. And garaje, well, that's kind of the most cognatable, as we said last time. Yeah? The garage, garaje. Okay. I hope some of you are speaking to your friends, too, who speak Spanish, and maybe learn a few words here and there. Okay, now, we're going to take one room at a time, so that last time I showed you the rooms at large there, but we're going to take one room at a time, and we're going to discuss a few things about it. The blanket, manta. Number 22, colchón, mattress. 23, sábanas. 24, sobrecama. 25, almohada. Now, sobrecama, cama is the bed. One student said that they really liked their bed, el cama. Well, can't blame you, right? Because you spend a lot of time, right? Not only sleeping, eating, texting, Instagramming. Okay. So, keep in mind for next time, if you wanted to say the color of any of these items in your bedroom, if I said the word is roja, it is red. If it's azul, it's blue. So roja is red, azul is blue, for instance, okay? If I wanted to say I have a blanket that is red, I put this word first and then roja. So you say mi manta roja, my red blanket. The words that describe colors come after the word that they're identifying. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. In English, however, we don't say it that way. We say my red blanket. But in the Romance languages, you have to switch it up. It's kind of like this. If you want to think of it in terms of, this is how you go clockwise in English. You're going to go the opposite way in Spanish. Red blanket becomes blanket red. Okay? Blue sheets, sabanas, would be sabanas azules. Azul for blue. Okay? Then you have to add the correct spelling in order to agree with the words. That's a whole nother grammatical issue that we're not going to get into now. But just remember that the color comes after the thing that you are going to talk about. So if you said you have a bedspread that is white, you would say the word for white is blanco or blanca. Okay? So you would say sobre cama blanca. Make sense? You might even see that on one of the episodes of Atención, the show on Saturday morning. The more you expose yourself to those kinds of things, the more it gets repeated into your head. And many people who talk about learning a language all by themselves say they learn from watching TV and film in that language that they're trying to learn. So even adults say that. When they're trying to grasp what's going on, they watch TV shows, they watch movies in order to get the idea, how it's spoken, and in what context or in what situation. Okay? Okay, so just quickly, sala de estar, living room. Cocina, kitchen. Cuarto de baño, bathroom. Recámara or el cuarto, el dormitorio is bedroom, garaje, garage. Now we're going to stay with these items that go into your, I'm sorry, I put the accent in the wrong place. It should be there too. recámara, or your cuarto, or your dormitorio, you would have these items, okay? So you have manta, colchón, sábanas, sobrecama, and almohada, okay? And then the colors after. We got that? Okay, now, sometimes often you will see and hear people saying things like, yo in Spanish means I. Some people pronounce it differently. In certain regions, in certain areas, they would say yo. But that's not what we're learning in terms of how to speak properly. When you get very, very well versed in the language, you can inflect your own idea of what it should sound like or what region it's from. So different areas will say, like, whether it's Peru or Nicaragua, Chile, Mexico, Spain, there's so many different regions that speak Spanish and have their own inflection and their own accent that sometimes it gets confusing when you hear it from somebody else. But just keep in mind that yo is yo. If it sounds different when you're hearing it somewhere else, it's just because of an accent predisposition or an accent change depending on the region or the person's people who are saying it that way. But for the most part, you're going to hear yo in terms of what you see with regard to like the shows on Univision, for instance, or for the kids shows in the morning, okay? If you hear it a little differently, you'll become acquainted with that as you get better in terms of the language itself, okay? Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was the artist Diego Rivera, who is a Mexican, very famous artist, who was married to a woman by the name of Frida Kahlo, who also became a very well-known and respected artist in her own right. I'm going to speak to, I think Miss Suarez does the art program for 4th grade. I'm going to speak to her and see if she can get us some examples of the work that both these artists did and are famous for, so that we can learn about them in terms of their time period and the type of art that they did. For instance, there are many different types of movements in art, like modern, classic, neoclassical, impressionist, cubist, Dada, it goes on and on and on. Anyway, so we're going to do this next time so that you have an idea of one of the most famous and well-respected artists that came from Mexico. Okay, in the meantime, please communicate, por favor. Es necesario comunicar. Okay? Okay, ciao, hasta luego.